What's going on, guys? Ida here, and today we are doing another episode of the 10-10 challenge. And as you can see from the last episode, our players are slightly worse fitness, but doesn't matter too much. We'll leave it as it is. They're all above. I like them above 90. 90 or more is fine for me. If I have to, I'll change a couple of players, and that is something I will do, which is to put Rhoda in here because if my central midfielders do get tired, I need somebody in there to switch out. Defensively, I've got Jonathan Tah in there, and wide players I've got there, and then I got Jan Oblak as a sub goalkeeper, which you don't really need, but I'll keep him in there. Now, what I'm going to do is get into the game, and we'll see what the team is for the opposition, and then I'll get into my topic. Okay, this guy has Loris Karius, Ivanovic, Daley Blin, Lovren. Is that Masuaku? He's got Wijnaldum, Xhaka, Van Hinkel, Lingard, Rondon, and Harry Kane with a very mustachy manager, which... Oh, Diego Simeone. I nearly forgot his name. Oh, and this person's talking. I hope they don't talk too much in this. I might have to reduce the sound on the video. And this is our second game in Division 8. The first one was a pretty easy victory. I wasn't expecting it to be as easy as it was, but can Aspas... Why is he hitting that with his left foot? Oh dear, I should have taken that a bit closer. He might have hit it with his right. It was probably in his stride. It was when I hit the button. Off the chest. Back in. Right. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. I don't know how, but I didn't mean to pass it. It was sort of reloaded from the time before with this other pass in. Now, one thing I have noticed about his team, they aren't the quickest of players, which can help me in defending, because my defenders aren't the greatest with Gambarini. Torresidis is pretty quick and Jesus is pretty quick, but the other two aren't so good, aren't so quick. So with the two fullbacks pushing in, does mean it's slightly easier for me. And let's see what he can... What happened there? Neither the defender or the goalkeeper came out for the ball. And what's Pedro doing there? That was rubbish. Now I need to get back into this game. I think... Oh, no. I was going to say that's the first goal I've conceded for a while. But I think it's the first time for a while I've gone down in a game in terms of whether I concede the first goal or not. Now, the topic I've decided to talk about in this game is about how Liverpool players... how they can improve, or how Liverpool can improve their squad. And there are a few schools of thought is whether Liverpool use their sort of younger players in their youth system and bring them through, or do they, because they do love having a Scouser in their squad and in their matchday lineup, and they always feel that the Scousers give them an edge because they've been there since they were young. They obviously are from the city, and they might be able to give them some sort of extra bit of flair, or just that they think they maybe care more than other players. And I can see that the attraction of that. It's pretty cool developing your own players. You look at how well Tottenham have done recently on that, but if you look at how well they've done recently with their signings, you'd probably say it would be good. Why did Origi stop? It might be good for them to bring a few of their younger players in. Like they've got Ben Woodburn, they got Alexander-Arnold. I was going to call him Armstrong then, but they have a few younger players coming through. Now, with their transfer policy, you'd say it's been okay in some areas, and in other areas it's not been so great. Because you look at somebody like Firmino, who's done fairly well this season. He scored a goal at the weekend after coming off the bench, and you got Coutinho, same deal. And Coutinho, obviously, another player that was a brilliant signing for them. But then you look at who they have at left back. They've got James Milner at left back, and while he's a never say die player, he doesn't stop running, doesn't give up on a team or the result, and in that area he's a great player. But is he a left back? He's played, when you look at Manchester City in his last sort of couple of months there, when Aguero was injured, he was playing up front. They've got a guy that can play striker playing at left back, who could probably score them a few goals. Origi, what was that? They've got a guy that can score them a few goals playing left back when they've got, somebody like Sturridge who doesn't get in the team. And they've got Alberto Moreno, who, while he was at Sevilla, wow, I like having wind in my ears. It's great. But they have a player like Moreno just sort of sitting on the bench. Now, you can argue his quality, and I love having a windstorm. I love having tornadoes. But you could argue that with somebody like Milner playing left back, is it the best choice? Then you've got somebody like Loris Karius in goal. And a lot of Liverpool fans will point to Joe Hartbit that was available in the summer. And obviously he went on loan to Torino, who by all accounts is doing all right there. He's not having a blinder of a season. He's not, sort of pushing them further up the table than they maybe deserve to be, or their sort of reputation and the players they have are doing much for. It's just they've got a pretty decent goalkeeper in now. Could Liverpool get him? They could. Would Man City want him to go there? Probably not. So you have to sort of think about other goalkeepers. Do they keep Karius? Because it is his first season in the league, don't forget. And I can't remember the last time, apart from Petr Cech, where a goalkeeper's been played a blinding season in their first year in the Premier League, because they've got to get used to the physicality and the sort of different styles of play, and whether they're deciding to play out from the back or what sort of system of play their team they're coming to join is playing. Because you look at David De Gea, his first season at Man United. Yeah, I know he was really young, but he was a lot of money for a goalkeeper, so you'd expect him to get somebody like Origi to try and actually get hold of the ball, but he didn't. But then again, the amount of money Liverpool spent on him, did they really expect much else than a goalkeeper that's maybe a work in progress? You could argue that they got what they paid for, really. And then you've got Mignolet, a Sunderland goalkeeper. He's a big fish in a small pond. He's maybe playing all right, but can he do better? Probably. Let's put Perotti on for Aspas, because I'm not doing much with this team at the moment. Let's put Roda on, and I'll leave it for that.
I feel a bit of sympathy for the forward who's coming off. He hasn't done great, but sometimes, defenders get tired.
Commentary knows what I'm talking about with Aspas. Not doing much. That's a player, if you look at their Liverpool's transfer policy, Aspas, cheap player signed, didn't really play him, chucked him out on loan. He's gone back to Celta Vigo, and in his statistics and how well he's done for them again since going back there, he's not a bad player. He just didn't do very well for that one season in the Premier League. And I think that is one thing that isn't afforded to players, and isn't really afforded to managers either, is that sort of time to actually get used to where they are and their new surroundings. It doesn't really get given. Oh well, I'll take the throw. Now, can I do something with Perotti? Yes, Perotti! First goal, left foot. Boom, boom, boom. Nice. Back in the game. This has been a more difficult game than the last one. Obviously, the last game was very easy, and it's probably sort of full sense of security because Division 8, I know it's not the highest of leagues, but it's a lot better than Division 9, you'd think. So I'm hoping I can get something more out of this game. Let's get Sane on the run, or that. Why'd the midfielder there just stop? Couldn't he have got the ball? Ah, oh, he's got Mick. When did he bring him on? Good tackle, Juan Jesus. I always try and think to call him Gabriel Jesus because the Man City guy, even though they're not in the same position or anything. Right, can we do something with Pedro? Back out to Sane. Inside. Left foot smash. Sane! Yes, yes, yes! Look at that! Oh, thank God for that. That is a great goal by Sane, who looks nothing like Sane. That is a wonderful strike. I think I've pushed skip, but I'll watch it. What a shot. Okay. Just foul him. Yeah, I'll take that. Now, if you look further up the pitch with Liverpool, from the goalkeeper, we've obviously looked at Milner left back. Then you've got the centre backs. Now, another position they could look to, because whilst they've got Dejan Lovren, who's for Southampton was very good, struggled first season with Liverpool, and maybe with injuries it's not helped him. That's a great tackle, but they need to partner him with somebody a bit better than Clavan, because Clavan was not very good. But then you also look at who they got on a free transfer last summer of Joel Matip, who has been fantastic for them. So maybe you need to partner Matip with somebody. But then you've also got to look at, is it maybe to do with how their tactics are, where you have all this pressing, and you've pushed everybody really far forwards. But if a team can break past that, they're straight at the centre-backs. Whereas you look at a Man City, I know their defence isn't great, but you go past most of their players, they've still got a Fernando or a Fernandinho, or one of those central defensive midfielders who are blocking that pathway through to the centre backs. You look at Barcelona, their player for that is obviously Busquets, who can sit in there. They obviously bought Mascherano for that, but he's gone back to centre back, and maybe that's obviously been great for his career doing that sort of change of position. But Liverpool don't really have that necessarily, because that's a goal. They have Emre Can doing that job, but he is definitely a player who looks to play forwards. He's not necessarily sort of a stopper like a Kante. And then they've got Henderson, who's all action, but can he do the same job? I don't think he can. So I think in terms of their formation and okay, interesting. I did a double tap X cross and it went all the way back there. I don't know what happened there, but we'll take it. And with that sort of midfield with Liverpool, can they find somebody maybe that can sit in there? Because they've got Lucas, but Lucas was pretty much out the door last summer, and then they kept him at the last minute. Centre-back wise, do they pair Matip with somebody else, or do they have to just do that different change in formation and how they play? Finesse, nope. Origi, header. There we are. That was pretty lucky. But his first goal was lucky, so I'll take it. Now, looking further up the pitch again, Liverpool sort of play a 4-3-3 with the three up front, almost having a one behind, almost sort of shift into a 4-2-3-1 with Chan and like Henderson, and then they've got the four behind, Coutinho, Firmino, sometimes Sturridge, but Lallana, and then I've forgotten the player now. Sometimes Origi, but they have that, they sort of have the four there. That was a lucky goal, and doing that. He's not scored any of them like that because that's his. He's the left back.
It is an occupational hazard for goalkeepers. When you have a bad day, this is what happens. Yeah, quite right.
Well, I don't mind having this result at the moment. Going well now. It's definitely
Trying to switch on the
momentum, but it might also be that
shots on here.
he's maybe gone attacking because I went 2 up or 1 up, 2-1 up, which can be difference because you look at how many players he's got committed forward here, you would say that's him changing his positions and stuff like that. But getting back to the Liverpool chat, you'd say out of the sort of front four they have, I wouldn't really want to change much about them because their tenacity to win the ball back high up the pitch, the amount of goals that they scored between them, and oh, that's it, Mane. How did I forget Mane? But you look at Perotti's in again. You look at how they played at the start of the season, and it's maybe is just their tactics, and the players they have can fit into that. It's just they maybe need better strength in depth because one thing you do look at with Liverpool is their bench, because Liverpool played the when they have Coutinho, Mane, Firmino, and all those on the bench, not on the bench, on the pitch, their bench, barring like 1 or 2 changes, they pretty much have 3 or 4 like under 20-year-olds on the bench. There's not great experience, and most of those players have less than 20 Premier League appearances between them. It's not really something you can call on. So I think with Liverpool, you need the strength in depth, maybe some greater quality in the goal, in the left-back position, a centre-back, maybe a central midfielder, but I wouldn't really change the front four because Mane, Coutinho, Firmino and Lallana together are a very nice combination. And Perotti got a 10 out of 10 after coming on. He got an assist and 2 goals. I'd say that was a pretty good substitution to make for myself, if I do say so. And that's another win, and that's 11 goals scored and 2 conceded in Division 8. We're looking at straight away going up, I'm going to say. Hopefully we can keep this sort of level of opponent. It'll make it a lot easier. So, that is another episode done. That's another win. And I will say thanks for watching and peace.